In Cape now, teachers are threatening to shut down schools amid growing COVID-19 concerns. The number of infections continues to increase there, leading to nearly 30 schools being closed. Ronald Masinda is tracking this story for us. What have you found out for us, Ronald?
Jane, good morning. Well, the numbers at this morning's demonstration have certainly dwindled as many teachers and some pupils have returned to school, a reality which many of them say they are fearing, Jane, given that a number of cases have been reported in the Western Cape schools. I'm joined now by another school, Sullivan Primary, to hear their views on this morning's demonstration. Sir, thank you so much for your time. First of all, the Western Cape government has also said that if schools want to shut down and if students don't want to go to school, they are allowed to do so. Then it begs the question, why then are you still open?
I think that information which the Western Cape Education Department has been giving is misinformation, because the schools on the Cape Flats, they don't have any proper accommodation, even though the Western Cape Education Department informs us that they have given us personal protective equipment. Obviously that is not sustainable at this present moment in time, because as you know, when learners leave the school every single day, the school must be sanitized properly, hoping that the learners come back the next day. Also, the schools on the Cape Flats, they are not properly, no proper accommodation, meaning the schools were not built for the purpose of having 15 or 20 learners in a class, which the coronavirus scientists have told us that we must social distance in our classes. If the Western Cape Education Department wants to help us, they must provide us with containers, with teachers, build extra classrooms, proper infrastructure at this present moment in time.
Now, the Western Cape Education Department has said that it spent almost 300 million rand on PPE. It's given teachers and pupils 2 masks each, and it's also provided enough PPE. Now, what you're saying is exact opposite. What then in cases where, have there been cases where there's COVID-19 infections at your school, and how have you handled it?
Where there's an instance where schools have, in those cases, the Education Department has taken a very dumb view with regards to that. For example, if there are 2 educators, for example, at a school having contracted the virus and the results have come back positive, that means actually that those teachers have had contact with other teachers at the school or even with the other learners, for example, the grade 7 learners, meaning the whole school must in actual fact be shut down. Not the situation where the Western Cape Education Department decontaminates the school for 1 or for 2 single days, and those educators or the learners must get back into the school, which is a problem because the virus will still be in the school, even though we have proper sanitation, we wear our mask every day, we keep our social distancing. So that is the main problem. We cannot say where the virus is at any present moment in time, meaning that no one can say he or she is positive, meaning we haven't been tested. So you can't say because of the asymptomatic symptoms that is present. For example, every one of us here can have the virus, can be a carrier of the virus, but we do not know that.
Should your calls then not be heeded or heard by the Western Cape Education Department or government, what then? Will we see more demonstrations?
Those 4 schools which the Education Department has mentioned, the MEC of Education, Ms. Schaefer, has mentioned it. Her attitude is one of, it's only 4 schools out of the 1,000+ schools in the Western Cape which has concerns, which means that those schools are not ready to teach, which means obviously learners will be left behind. Doesn't matter what. Like I said before, the dumb view of the Education Department.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. Jane, well, just to add to what the gentleman said, well, during this past weekend we also visited schools in the Drakenstein municipality where we heard similar stories saying that as schools from rural districts, they not really had the necessary PPE, they weren't ready to reopen, and that they felt rushed, that they should have been consulted before the Education Department decided on reopening schools. We also heard that during the first week when schools reopened, there were around 66 cases of COVID-19 and around 55 schools that were closed. We also since heard now that around 25 schools have closed, and in that 25 schools, they are not necessarily all COVID-19 related cases, but some schools have decided to shut down, fearing that more infections might occur.